What's up? I'm Troubleshoot a little bit late to this, but on the 14th of August 2025, we got 8 brand new Rust skins. Let's check them out on the store, then in-game, and speculate about price afterwards. We received the Black Ops Python for $2.50, and the Legacy Wooden Double Door for $2.50 as well, followed by continuing the long-existing series of the Sinotype Tools box, $2.50. Then, for just $2, the Deep Sea Locker and the Temple Satchel, as well as the Funerary Poncho. Then finally, the Harbor Seal Garage Door for $1.50 and the JPEG Boots for just $1. Let's check out all of these in-game. So, starting off at the very top, or bottom rather, for just $1, we've got these JPEG Boots. It's been, I'm pretty sure, an incredibly long time since we last saw a JPEG anything really, and these boots over here are a welcome addition to the existing cartoonish looking set. This set breaks down equipment into a really simple rendition in this really sort of cel-shaded look, which I really do like. It's just the basic skins, basically redrawn and remade from scratch. These boots are absolutely adorable, and I really love how they look. The cel-shaded look really does work super well in Rust. Personally, these are one of my favorite items this week, even though they might not be the most expensive. Moving up from here, the Funerary Hide Poncho, right over here, does seem to stick out a bit in that there's a ton of transparency. It doesn't exactly rest on your body, but as you can see, this chain of bullets that stretches all the way around your character really does look pretty cool on any piece of gear. However, of course, this does replace your chest piece slot, so you won't be wearing armor while you're wearing this as well. This Funerary Poncho will put you back $2, but as long as you're not going anywhere where you need extra protection and you're just there to look threatening, this really is a super cool skin. The transparency is really creatively done. Obviously, this adds to the existing Funerary set, which has been growing quite recently. I would assume it's something to do with the upcoming naval update, but yeah, this really does look super cool. Then from here, one of the most expensive items this week, the Black Ops Python, is another fantastic addition to the growing Black Ops set. This mostly blackout, but still carbon fiber looking gun really does suit the rest of the Black Ops set that we've seen thus far. And of course, if you're collecting, this is a fantastic addition to it. You can see that this red line on the front iron sight stretches all the way from the back to the front, but how exactly does this thing look at nighttime? And the rest of the kit for that matter? Well, if we flick over to nighttime, as you would hope, the Black Ops Python completely vanishes. Even though this front iron sight does look a bit luo and bright, it doesn't actually emit anything at night, making it completely invisible. The same thing goes for the Hide Poncho, and of course the JPEG Boots. Everything is completely invisible, as you would hope. If we flick over to first person, here you can see what it looks like. Nothing too crazy here, but at daytime, the front red iron sight really is a nice addition. Compared to the original Python over here, I don't think all too much has changed in terms of the model. It's mostly just the same, but reskinned of course. I don't think anything's missing from the sight either. It's mostly stock standard. Yeah, most definitely. Ultimately, a really nice looking, clean, black Python skin if you're looking for one of these. Then from here, it's mainly just buildables. Other than, of course, this satchel over here, which is the Temple Satchel for just $2. This skin, of course, fits in very well with the previous Aztec-themed doors that we've seen along the same pattern and style, and of course, this mirrors that pretty much entirely. As you can see though, there are some really bright glowing eyes, and while stealth isn't the most important thing with this, if you're going to be running around with it and it's in your inventory, it appears on your hip as such, and of course it makes you a really obvious target at nighttime. That being said though, when you're actually chucking these things, it doesn't really matter what they look like, as well, you're throwing hate downrange and people are going to figure out where you are soon enough. Again, moving between places, it might not be the brightest idea to use this skin. Switching over to the first person, there's nothing too crazy about how it looks. The model is still mostly standard, besides of course it being super glowy. It's interesting that the face side or play side is facing out front while you're holding it, and towards the back is more of a backside texture, but that's just, I guess, how the satchel model is shown. A little bit strange as you're looking at it in first person and, well, doing the opposite here, but besides that, obviously, the skin does look pretty cool, but of course its uses are limited, especially if you can't run around with this thing as easily. If we move over towards the buildables this week, starting off with this over here, the Legacy Wooden Double Door. obviously imitates or mirrors the legacy wooden high walls that we've seen, and of course if you're rocking a wooden base for some reason or just getting a start, this really isn't a bad wooden door skin. That being said, something that is really cool about it is the amount of transparency. As you can see, you can very easily see through the center and bottom half of both sides of this, and of course that is going to be a huge tactical advantage, especially if you're being door camped early game. There's no hiding from this. The left, the right, the front, no matter where you are, it's very easy to see through this. For that reason, it is a pretty cool skin, and I would probably consider it pay to win somewhat, although of course you can see very lightly through most wooden buildings anyways. If we flick over to the first person, you can see just how much we can see here. It's actually quite a bit, though of course that does also mean other people can see in very easily, so make sure you're supporting an airlock if you're going to be purchasing this. Moving down from $2.50 to just $2, the Harbor Seal garage door is another very cute addition to the smiley friends that we've seen in Rust. Of course, we've seen the Harbor Seal rock ones before, probably I think a hammer as well. This is the largest item in any collection. The garage door, of course, has this beautiful creature on display as big as possible. If you're collecting these cutesy font skins, of course, this really is another happy friend to add to your base. Of course, as you can see, it's mostly just a plain enlarged seal, as we've seen previously. The eyes are super shiny, but if we flick over to nighttime, neither of these have any emission or anything crazy on them, so they don't glow at all and vanish completely into the night, as you would hope. Obviously over there you can see the satchel, which is super obvious. From there, there's only two other items this week. First of all, the deep sea locker, which of course is made to imitate the deep sea barrels and things like that we've seen before, though of course the kelp isn't animated. I assume only Face Punch official skins can be animated in any means, but of course this does do a really faithful and super highly detailed rendition of this deep sea collection. This really does look super cool. Love and attention has been put into this, and it's very obvious with the amount of clear detail that we see all over this beautiful skin. I'm a pretty big fan of the deep sea collection this far. I do enjoy using the barrels, and this of course is a fantastic addition to that, even though it's not the most, I guess, pleasing color palette. It's all browns and sad rusty greens. But for the most part, if you like the Abyss barrels, this is a really nice addition to that, following along these same themes. Obviously though, we don't have too many Abyss type skins, so you won't be able to theme your entire base around it, but this is a pretty nice start. I like the detail. It really does look super good. Finally, of course, something that absolutely everyone saw coming was the Tools Sinotype box, of course continuing the long existing Sinotype set. Of course, if you're collecting this is going to be another needed addition, and I don't know why the camera's not focusing, but as the set grows, of course, maybe it'll go up in price as it becomes more complete, but for now at least, things haven't looked too good for recent Sinotype skins, which is rather surprising, but again, there are a ton of people purchasing this. This beautiful neon box, of course, matches exactly as the other Sinotype items we've seen in this collection this far, but of course it's just mostly a color palette swap with a different name, in this case Tools, and of course iconography on the front and top. If we flick over to nighttime, it's just as glowy as you'd expect. Nothing's changed here in this regard. If you know the previous Sinotype boxes, this is exactly the same. And of course, the deep sea locker has no glow or emission of any kind, so it vanishes very quickly into the dark. Personally, I really do like these Sinotype skins, but it's just sad to see that they haven't gone up in price as much as I would have hoped. But that being said, let's quickly have a look at, well, not SCMM, as that's still currently down, but a different website where we can have a look at the current subscribers and make some guesstimates about where things might go in the future. So let's look over to it. Just before we do, of course, I'm no oracle. We're just looking at existing sets, existing skins, and basing some really rough guesstimates about where things might go in the future. None of this is guaranteed to come true, and buying skins in hopes of flipping them for a profit in the future is pretty much just gambling. So make your own educated decisions. So flicking over to rusthub.com/store, here we can see all of the skins from this week, and they've had about 24 hours on sale, which does mean we'll have some pretty accurate numbers for where things are going. By far the most popular item this week, as you would have expected with over 17,000 purchases, at least, is the Sinotype Toolbox for $2.50. A lot of these skins say abnormal when they go on sale earlier than other skins. I'm not too sure about this, but for the most part, these all did release at the same time, and I would assume they'll all go on sale at roughly roughly the exact same time, so for the most part, I'm pretty sure you can ignore the abnormal sticker up here. This Sinotype Tools box, of course, adds to the long-existing Sinotype set, and if you were hoping to purchase this and flip it for a profit in the future, well, unfortunately, some of these skins haven't gone up too much in price, although most of them have seen a pretty good increase. The largest increase by far was the original Firearms box, which has absolutely skyrocketed in price, and I really do wish I purchased more of these. I think I only got one or two. The Sinotype Components box, the next release, has seen a pretty healthy jump in its price, and everything has gone up quite a bit. I would assume that this is a pretty safe thing to invest in for the most part, but of course, if too many people purchase it, it might not go the best. For example, the Sinotype Ammo box here ended at about 36,000 subscribers, the Sinotype Med box 37,000, and we've already reached almost 17,000 on day 2. So this is selling like hotcakes. The Legacy Wooden Dumbledore, of course, adds to the Legacy Wooden buildings that we've seen before, such as the Legacy Wooden DLC, with over 6,600 purchases at least. This beautiful door obviously isn't part of any official collection from the creator, but it does fit in very well with the rest of the Legacy skins in a very true to the same art style and things like that. The Funerary Poncho, with over 6,000 purchases, it's doing pretty healthy. And of course, having a look at the other 4 items in this Funerary set, for which we saw the pants, hoodie, and backpack this far, all of these have seen a pretty substantial increase in price. Nothing here has gone too sad. I'm not too sure if these will see a bigger boost when the naval update releases, as these are sort of naval themed, as some people have pointed out. That's yet to be seen in the future, but so far, based on the previous skins, it does look like a pretty good purchase. Then the Harbor Seal Garage Door, 5,800 purchases. This adorable door, it adds to these adorable Harbor Seal items here, including the rock, steel hammer, large box, and single sheet metal door. Everything that you can hold for the most part, and the large box has gone up in price. The only thing that went down was the door over here. I'm not too sure why, but it's difficult to predict where exactly this will go, as the rest of the set has stayed mostly around the same price, with the only thing tanking quite a bit being the door over here. Obviously, this is another door. It's a different kind of door. Is that enough to save it from losing value? We'll have to see. Then the Temple Satchel, with at least 5,700 purchases, almost 800, does join the Aztec Garage Door, or Temple Garage Door, I guess, more truly. That has seen a 53% drop in its price, and as this is such a pay-to-lose item, I would guess, if you're running around with it, it puts a super obvious target on you. I don't see this going too well in terms of people actually using it in-game, but as for people purchasing it and selling it, it's right smack in the middle here. Then the Black Ops Python has sold 5,400 this far, and it joins a pretty good number of other Black Ops skins, though most of them sadly have lost a lot of their value. I personally really do like the Black Ops rocket launcher here, although most of everything has lost a lot of its value, the only thing keeping its value being the Black Ops revolver here. Obviously, this is very similar to the Black Ops revolver, and you could maybe guesstimate that it'll stay somewhere around the same price if you're expecting it to follow this, which was released about 5 months ago, but of course nobody can be certain, and based on the rest of this Black Ops set, things don't look too good for it. Then moving on to the Deep Sea Locker, we've sold almost 5,000 of these, and of course, it's joining a few other Deep Sea skins here, such as the Deep Sea Sword and Deep Sea Saw. Both of these have absolutely tanked in price. Really do like how this looks. I can see it matching with my Abyss barrels really well, but that being said, the rest of these skins haven't done so well. Finally, the JPEG Boots over here for $1 have sold 3,600 times, and there is an existing JPEG set, which maybe a lot of people haven't really seen most of it. The items in this, such as weapons and things like that, haven't been doing too well for the most part, except for the Sap and Thompson, but the rest of the wearables here have been doing relatively well, being up 17% all the way to almost 300. I would assume that boots can be used in both road sign sets and full metal sets, so they'll probably be relatively popular in-game if you like how this thing looks, and based on that alone, I would assume things are going to look pretty good for this, such as the pants, hoodie, road sign kit, metal kit, etc. have seen a pretty healthy increase in price, almost doubling or even tripling in some cases. So things really do look super positive for this, though of course these have been out for quite a long time. It may take some time for them to properly grow to their true value. But yeah, with that we've covered pretty much every new item this week and speculated about their prices. But yeah, that's really that. So hopefully you found this video useful. Thank you for watching. My name's been Troubleshoot. I'll see you all next time. Ciao.